Hey, Zenfam! Good to see ya. I've missed talking to you. It's been like, must be about a fortnight since I managed to make a video. Life's just been busy. Work, kids, Christmas. It's like trying to get the house in such a state where I can actually put up the green screen, flip up the couch and talk to you guys. And I've been wanting to talk to you guys. And recent events have made what I want to talk about today even more of a thing. So let's start it with the thing that makes this video even more relevant to the present time. Cyberpunk. So we've all seen Cyberpunk and we all were looking at it going, ooh. But now Cyberpunk's gone out and people going, oh, you finished the game awfully quick, you know? And here's the thing. It's why the video's dubbed a bit the Goldielocks Effect. Because that's what it all comes down to. We get game after game, time after time, and one of the main things that comes up with games is how long was the game? It's like, is that really a barometer of quality? How long the game is? Yeah, it's like, what about story? What about graphical content? What about gameplay? What about, you know, things to discover within the game? It all adds up, you know. It's like you can have a game like, say, any given Assassin's Creed, where the map is covered, littered, absolutely just spread thick all around with loads of wee things to go and find, you know, like sheets of song lyrics and weapons and armor and story beats and, you know, historical recordings and just stuff, you know. But you could put that on top of a game where you're not really doing that much. You know, if you want to boil it right now, bear in mind, I love Assassin's Creed, I've played most of them. Okay? But you could boil Assassin's Creed down to go to place, sneak around place, get behind bloke, stab bloke, hide bloke, sneak, get to next bloke, kill bloke. You know? And with some running and some wall jumping and ooh, you know, and historical conflict and ooh, and animus and you know, when you if you want to get super reductive about it, you know, you could do that with any game. You could do that with God of War. All I'm doing is going from one place to another and I'm slaying some beasties with a big axe that happens to come back to me. And yet that game is an awesome game. You know, you could do that with anything. Or you could do the exact opposite. You could take a simple game like Pac-Man and go, right, so you're in this weird place, right, okay, and you've got to dodge about all these ghosts and that, right, and there's these power-ups that keep coming up, and you try to get as many of the power-up pills as possible, you try to get them all eaten, and sometimes if you eat one of the special ones, you get to eat the ghosts themselves and you get even more points, and you just keep going and survive. You can turn anything into anything if you put the right context, the right spin on it. Get a bit of Obi-Wan Kenobi, you know, give it from a certain point of view. This is like, you know. So you've got Spider-Man, okay? Look at Spider-Man, the new one, the Miles Morales one. Now, admittedly, it's about what, a third of the length of story than Spider-Man PS4, but it's doing so much more. It's got so many more technical bells and whistles. It looks beautiful. And, you know, the animation speeds and stuff and this fluidity of it all, it's just like, you know. And let's face it, Spider-Man PS4 is no slouch. Or you could take like The Witcher 3, you know. Massive game, massive story, right? A game so big that has been shown that a lot of people that played The Witcher 3 haven't completed it. I mean, just haven't they? They got like maybe 2/3 of the way through and just went, oh god, it's too big. And you get all these people going, games aren't big enough. And you get these other people going, games are too short. And it's like, And you get some other poor guy who goes like, look mate, I've got a job, I've got a wife, I've got a kid. Alright? I'm doing with the game length. Just give me half a chance to complete this damn thing. And you can understand that. Because, like, you know, it's, and I especially understand it. I mean, I love gaming. I've been gaming for a really long time. Okay? And sometimes it's hard. You know, you get these games and they're like, you know, 60 to 120 hour experience. And you're lucky if you can squeeze out 4 to 6 hours a week. A week. Not a day, a week on a game. Alright? And you've got to keep a control scheme in your head. You've got to remember where you were, what you were doing, and what your motivation was for doing it. Oh God. You know? And then on top of that, if you're me or another YouTuber like me, you're also using that. You're trying to find good footage in your gameplay to use as content. Like I do here. I mean, you know, it's like, and I've still got to build up a body of content on PS5, you know, because I don't got that many games right now, because I'm a bit skinty poos. Which is why my mic isn't so hot. Although, as you can probably tell from the sound, yes indeedly doodly neighbourito, I've got my mic back. I'm no longer using the mic on the DualSense. So that's a happy thing. Although admittedly I probably just made a whole bunch of noise for you in the microphone while I lifted it up and showed it. What I would like to do eventually is I'd like to get a lapel mic. You know, a really long cable. So then I could plug that in and then I could walk around like I do. Because I have noticed that sometimes there's a little bit of a disparity in the sound as if I'm back here and I'm talking and I come to the front here and I'm still talking at the same level. I think for probably some of you out there who listen on headphones, you probably find there's a bit of a dip and a trough, and a peak and trough to the sound. So I think the only way I can fix that is by a lapel mic. But it's probably going to have to be a wired lapel mic, so I'll have to make sure I don't trip over myself and, you know, kill everything in the room. You know, because I don't think I've the money for a radio lapel mic and not like that. I don't know if you can get a radio lapel mic that connects by USB to the PlayStation 5, but you know, we'll see. We'll have to look into that. But then, of course, I need some scratch. But if you want to buy some t-shirts from the Zenbloke store to help in doing that kind of thing, or you just want to, like, you know, PayPal me some money somehow, I don't know. But you know, I'm not asking. I'm just saying if you want it, that'd be nice. Anyway, so you get your Goldielocks effect happening with the games. It's like, what do you want to do here? Do you want to have a short, condensed experience where the game is super tight with really nice controls, really elegant, well-told story, and beautiful collectibles that are actually worth looking for? Or do you want this great big thing that spins off into the foreverness and, like, with a big empty map where not a lot happens? See, because that's what it comes down to. Right at the very end, right when you get to the proper crux of the matter, right? What is value to you? You know, what's valuable to you as a gamer? Do you value, you know, a gigantic map? You know, you could trudge for half an hour in one direction, you know, to get to something and hope that it makes a good gameplay experience. Or you could have something like Yakuza. But look at the Yakuza games. They're literally set in a small district of a Japanese city, you know, in the 80s/90s, you know. And it's basically everything happens in that one condensed area. I mean, you may remember a couple of years back I made that Grand Theft Auto Edinburgh video. Well, Edinburgh's not a big city. I mean, Edinburgh's like about 7 miles by 8 miles. You know, with some stuff surrounding it and that. And I suggested that Edinburgh would make a great Grand Theft Auto experience if you went really super high def of it. You know, photorealism everywhere, you know, and like proper traffic systems and that. You know, like make it really, really super grounded. You know, but also still GTA. You know, like the Getaway, but like now. But set in Edinburgh, because you know, let's face it. We've done London to death. We've done Los Angeles to death. We've done New York super to death. You know? Let's try Edinburgh. Because that like almost never in games. I mean, seriously, think of how many games there have been set in Edinburgh. It's like there's a drive club level, there's a track in Gotham Night Racing. I know there's another one, and that's basically where everybody else gets to. Where are all the Edinburgh games? But anyway. So it doesn't matter how long the actual story of a game is. It doesn't matter how much collectibles it is. It doesn't matter how pretty the game is. What matters is a confluence of all those things together, and you. What do you care about? What's the game worth to you as a gamer? You know, does the game respect your time? Does the game give you a good time? Does the game have really quality controls? Does the game have an excellent level of immersion? That's what you've got to ask the question. It's not like, how long does it take to complete this game? Because that's an arbitrary question. That's not a question that you ask in any other art form. It's like you don't sit down in front of Apocalypse Now and go, John, how long's this movie, John? You don't do that. You know how long the movie is. You sit down, you make time for it, you munch. You might have some snacks, but you sit down, you watch that film, and, you know, hopefully you enjoy it. You know? Gaming is a subjective art form. Like art, it is subjective. It is down to how you experience it, what you get out of it. But uniquely, gaming is also different to most every other art form because it's also about what you put into it. If you put in all the sort of skill and hours and like you try to get through every nook and cranny of the game and squeeze out every ounce of enjoyment, all the collectibles and weapons and health and secrets and Easter eggs and, you know, clever little things the game has done and story beats that, you know, that are like extra, you know, if you excise every amount of gameplay you can out of that art experience that is a video game, then to you that game in your heart of hearts could be worth like 100 quid, never mind 70, you know. Even look at something like, say, The Order 1886. Right, The Order 1886, beautiful game, but the length, the play time, nets out to, what, an average of about 7 or 8 hours. Now, there's a lot of people out there who go, 7 or 8 hours, are you having a laugh? It's a bit, yeah, that's what happens. Some games are short, but they are stunning to look at. And they have really lovely physics and whatever else. By the way, I apologise for the sound of my washing machine in the background because this is a house. You know, people live here. Anyway, so that's what you've got to figure out is A, read the reviews. B, try and get an idea about the game before you actually buy it. C, largely speaking, pre-ordering is dead. I know you're going to go, Soundblock, you're a hypocrite, you pre-ordered your PS5. Yeah, I pre-ordered a system. I've more or less stopped pre-ordering games, unless it's a game that I really super want and that I know is going to be in super high demand. But I've reached a point now where a lot of the times games are very seldom now ever going to be at a point where you can't get hold of a copy. It's just not really a thing. Now, if you want to get a special edition, you know, one with a statue and an art book and stickers and soundtracks and a t-shirt and blah 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 blah. You know, however much stuff that, like, you know, a games company wants to throw into a box and sell to you, then if that's what you want and you want to pre-order something like that, I can understand it. But just pre-ordering a bog standard disc in box video game from a store into your hands, largely speaking, I don't think you need to do that anymore. Especially with the rise of digital games. But, you know, don't think that really is the case anymore. So right now, the question has to be coming down to is, what is important to you? You, the gamer sat right here watching me ask you that question on your couch, your pad in your hand, you're sitting down for the night, you've got the house empty, kids in bed, wife's taking an early bed or she's out with her pals, you know, and you sat down, you've got that pad, and you play the game. What's important to you right now? Or you're 14, you know, you've not got a lot of pocket money, you've scrabbled it together, and you've gone out and you've looked, you've had 2 games in your hand at the game store, you've been trying to make your mind up, and you pick option B, and you go with it and you take it home and you play it. What made you pick that? Was it game length? Was it collectibles? No, it's everything together in one. What makes it the most worth for you? So let's dispense from this point onward of this game's trash because it's only 5 hours. This game's trash because it's just a walking simulator. This game's trash because all it is a boring sports sim. It's what you watch. What the individual gamer believes they get out of it for the worth that they put into it and they get from it. But that's my 2 cents. What's yours? Typey down below. Let me know what you think. And of course, do please pass me around because I'm trying to get to 400 here. I'm climbing, and I'm in the 370s right now, and I'm trying to get to that 400. It's like, I'd like to do it, you know, before spring. That would be nice. I mean, I was kind of hoping to get to 500 by now, but not enough of you click that subscribe button and tell your pals about me so they could click that subscribe button when the competition was running. So this is where we are currently, but the fight continues, god damn it! Okay, I'm rambling now, so it's time for me to shut this video down in the customary Zemblock fashion. So, hashtag support Scottish YouTubers, and of course, as always, aye, nae bother.